Welcome to problem number 4. It's asking us to find the volume of the entire object. When you look closely, however, at the object, you'll notice that there's actually two shapes. The first shape that I see is a cone. Sits on the top. Okay. And then actually it looks like the cone is resting on a very small cylinder underneath of it. So what I want to do is find the volume of the cone plus the cylinder. So let's look at the cone first. Remember, a cone is something that comes to a point. It's going to use formula number 2, which is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So I'm going to take 1/3. The base is a circle. So the area of that circle is pi r squared. Remember, r is my radius of 5. And then the height of the cone is going to be, oh, actually, I made a slight mistake here. 13 centimeters is actually the hypotenuse of the right triangle, and that would be the slant height. So I don't want the slant height. I actually want, whoops, I'm sorry about that. I want the height of the cone here. I want this height. And if you remember your Pythagorean triples, this is a 5, 12, 13. So this height is actually 12 and not 13. I'm very sorry about that. The 13 is like a decoy. It actually tricked me, right? This is the slant height. And so if you didn't know your Pythagorean triples or didn't remember them, you can just do the Pythagorean theorem. So area of 1/3 area of the base times the height of 12. So that will give me actually something a little different than my answer. Let me just quick type this into my calculator and you can do the same. So 1/3 times pi times 5 squared times 12. And that gives me 314.15. So that's actually quite a bit of a difference. And I just want to make sure that I type that in right. You can always feel free to double check my calculations. 314, I'll just round it to 0.16. Okay, now we're going to do the cylinder. Now the cylinder is going to be formula number 1. It does not come to a point, so it's going to be the area of the base times the height. So the base of the cylinder is a circle as well, pi r squared. The height of that cylinder is only 2 units. So what I'm going to do is add those two new numbers together, and I get roughly 471 ish, right? So 314 plus 16 plus 157.08, 471.24 centimeters cubed. So this answer is actually off a little bit. So just make sure you're understanding area of the base times the height. I want this number 12, not the 13. The 13 is going to be the slant height, which is what I don't want. Now, just as a side note, since we're on this topic, if I were going to calculate the surface area of the cone, I would want the area of the circle plus, if I unwrapped the cone, right, I get this weird shape. I would actually need the 13 because 13 would be my slant height, and it would be pi times r times L, right? And L would actually come in handy in this particular case if I wanted the surface area. Okay, so I hope you found that helpful. And again, as always, if you have any questions, definitely email me about this problem. Good luck.